The hit system in Tekken 8 is something that gives every single character some unique depth, individuality, and something that lets them stand out from the rest of the cast. And of course, in fighting games and mechanics like this, there's always going to be characters that stand out in terms of power level, with some characters having a way stronger mechanic than other characters on the shared roster. Which brings me to this video. I am going to rank the top 10 strongest character hit abilities in Tekken 8. Now this excludes hit burst, hit engagers, hit dash, and hit smash, and is only focused on the abilities or the gimmicks the character receives when they get into hit. So without wasting any more of your time, hey, let's get it, bro. Opening up my list at number 10, we have Kazuya Mishima, and I'll be honest, Kazuya just slightly edged out a few other characters that haven't made this top 10, just slightly. It was a difficult decision, but I had to go with Kazuya, man. So Kazuya's hit gives him access to the Devil Jin, Devil Kazuya, where he actually gets enhanced moves or just improved versions of his moves. For example, his Hell Sweep gets a knockdown whilst in devil form, deals 45 damage and gives him a hard knockdown as well. This is especially strong with stages that have a floor break or a floor blast. Like, it becomes so strong, and it's very scary to deal with Kazuya when he is in devil mode and he's wave dashing in your face. Like, just spray, my boy. He also gets access to forward 2, which becomes enhanced, deals way more damage, and has an extension afterwards with a laser beam. You don't actually have to go for the extension if you don't want to. Just hold back to stay, just to get the forward 2 on its own and not burn heat, which is another good quality of life improvement. Like, forward 2 and the Hell Sweep alone is a very solid 50-50 mix-up, especially with the fact that you can even realign yourself with your opponent with forward 2 due to Heihachi's wave dash, so it becomes very strong whilst in heat. He also gains access to forward neutral quarter circle forward 3, giving him the laser beam extension again for just way more damage in his combos, and on block it's also safe and +5, bro. Like, it's very strong, and you can't just duck. It's a high, but you can't just duck because he has that forward 2, right? So it's mind games. He also gets access to Chikoi, one of the best power crushes in the game. Huge, massive hitbox, does some pretty good damage as well. He gains access to his low laser, which gives him some really good Oki, and 112 as well, an enhanced version of 112, which can side switch if you're at the wall, and just gives you that extra damage as well. What I love about Kazuya is he just gives him really good tools for different situations. Just overall improves the character. Like, this was one of the first designed hit mechanics. I think it might be even the first. Like, they had a very good idea of what they were doing with Kazuya, and I kind of wish this was the route they took with a lot of characters in the game. But as you'll see later in the list, there's just some characters that have ridiculous hit gimmicks, bro. But Kazuya just gives him a nice overall power buff whilst in hit, gives him some very good useful tools, and this is why he makes my list at number 10. Making it at number 9, we have Feng Wei, and Feng Wei's hit mechanic is just really good. So it's kind of like Kazuya in a sense that it enhances 2 of his moves. So these are back 1 and forward 1 +2. Then lastly, it gives him an entirely new move as well. So Feng's back 1 is a 10-frame counter hit knockdown that gives him a guaranteed shoulder. That's some pretty good damage at 44 damage. However, it is unsafe on block at -12, I believe. So when Feng goes into hit, his back 1 now becomes safe at +8 with massive pushback, and knocks down on normal hit and still guarantees him a shoulder at the cost of some hit gauge. Like, this becomes the best get off me move in Tekken 8, bro. Like, 10-frame safe counter hit, like normal hit knockdown into guaranteed shoulder. Like, it's an understatement how strong this back 1 is. This is a character that already has amazing defense going for him. He just gets this as a bonus. And secondly, his forward 1 +2 is just a nice mid. That's -9 on block. If you charge it up, it becomes plus and has massive pushback. And at the wall, it does that the wall slamp thing. I think it becomes like +15 as well. So it's decent, like in neutral. But then when you go into it with this move, it becomes godlike. It basically becomes a guard break that gives him a guaranteed 10-frame follow-up. So in neutral, like in mid-screen, if you go forward 1 +2, in heat, charge it up, you get a guard break, you get 1-3 guaranteed or 1-2 1-2. However, at the wall is where this thing becomes a nightmare to deal with, bro. This becomes a guard break, and remember, back 1 in hit is 10 frames fast and knocks down on normal hit. So now Feng can go for forward 1+2 at the wall, charge it up, get the guard break into back 1, into wall splat, into full combo. Like this is what makes Feng's hit very, very scary. At the wall, this man is a menace. You can't just block. It's very difficult to mash buttons against him as well because it's very, very risky. And lastly, he gets a new move, 3+4, the Stomp. This move is very underrated. You rarely see it at high level because top players don't like using it because it's very susceptible to being floated. But the thing is, you don't even have to be at point blank range when doing this move. You can be outside of jab distance and still get really good plus frames. At close range, I think it's like what, +15 or something on block. Then at max range, it's only like +7. So this gives you a guaranteed mix-up in back turn. You can either go for the back turn down 3 unreactable launcher or normal hit, or go for back turn 2, which is a power crash mid that you can hit dash out of. But you don't even have to go for the risky options. If you want, you can go for like back turn down 1 or back turn shoulder as a mix-up, or back turn shoulder and back turn grab as well, right? Like this is so strong. There's so many good Feng players that just abuse this, and it's like so difficult, bro. You can't react to it unless you just jab instinctively. Like it's so underrated, and I don't understand why it's very underused at high level. So this is why I think Feng comes in at number 9, slightly above Kazuya, because I feel he's just a bit more effective with his few tools that he gets whilst in heat. At number 8, we have Hwarang. And just like Feng and Kazuya, a few of Hwarang's moves also get enhanced whilst in heat. Let's first talk about his right flamingo flappy kicks. Right flamingo forward 4-4. So without hit, this move is triple high, and the last hit can be ducked. It's not natural on hit or block. But whilst he is in hit, when this move hits you, bro, the entire string will hit you. Like, it's not even funny, like everything will hit you. But what makes this so insane is the damage, bro. The damage is ridiculous. This man can get over 100 damage from a counter hit flappy kick, bro. If he does like down back 4 into flappy kicks, on counter hit everything is guaranteed. Not just down back 4, one jab, bro, one jab. So 2 forward 4 into right flamingo into flappy kicks whilst in hit on counter hit, right? Counter hit, one jab into flappy kicks is all guaranteed. So basically when Hwarang is in hit, he has a 10 frame counter hit launcher, bro. 10 frame counter. Like, remember how Akuma's down 1 to Skardas back in Tekken 7? It's basically the same thing, bro, but it's a jab. 10 frame counter hit launcher, and you can get over 100 damage, and this deletes a lot of your white health as well. It is so broken, but it is so busted, so strong. Very underrated hit mechanic as well. And just for this reason alone, right? For this reason alone, Hwarang does make this list on number 7. You could make it higher, but the ones above I think just do way more than Hwarang. He also gets an enhanced hell sweep, so his hell sweep becomes natural with the follow-up at the end being natural as well. Knocks down and causes wall breaks or wall blasters, also very, very strong. He also deals some pretty good damage, some pretty good chip damage whilst in hit as well. So everything combined just makes Hwarang's hit mechanic very, very effective. But of course the spotlight has to be the flappy kicks. Counter hit flappy kicks, one jab into counter hit flappy kicks, counter it down back 4 into flappy kicks, and it's GG's, bro. Like the damage, bro. I don't even play Hwarang. This is just the basic ass combo. Look at the damage, like 8 just from this alone. Like Jesus. So that's why Hwarang makes my list at number 8. At number 7, we have Lydia, and Lydia is a perfect example of a simple and yet very effective hit mechanic. So it's very simple. When Lydia goes into hit, she gains access to heaven and earth stance, a stance where she like flexes her arms, puts her arms up, and she gets 3 moves from this, but the 2 are the most important. She gets a high unblockable, and then she also gets a mid that's safe on block, is plus, and knocks down as well. So it's basically a 50-50. Now you might say yes, it's a 50-50, but if you duck the high you can launch her. Well, that's true, but it's more so in her favor, because if you are only rewarded for ducking the high or guessing the high. If you guess the mid, she's still plus, bro. So even after guessing, you still have to hold another mix-up. Like think of, for example, let's say Victor. Victor has down back 1+2 whilst in hit, which goes into his stance, where he puts you in a 50-50 guessing game. You can go for the sword sweep low or the forward 2 mid, but the forward 2 is -9, so he loses his turn after throwing out the mid. But Lydia still keeps her turn, bro, and she's plus, which is just very stupid. No one likes guessing in this game, and guessing is not fun, and Lydia just forces this upon you, and it's so intoxicating. And whenever she actually uses her heaven and earth stance, she gains stocks. For each stock she gets, she reduces the cost of every time she spends this unblockable. So by the time it's final round, she can spend it like so many times, and it's just toxic, bro. It's a very strong hit mechanic, very effective, bro, very effective and very strong. The damage she gets from the unblockable, it adds up, man, it adds up. And she also has the power crush mid, which is very strong for some combos. Like she can spike and follow up with combos, and it just does some massive amounts of damage, bro. But of course, the spotlight is unblockable high at the war, especially because the mid can war splat. So yeah, guess for your life, my boy. This is why I think Lydia's hit mechanic is worthy of making it on my list at number 7. Eddie Gordo is my number 6. He has an amazing hit mechanic which really ties his archetype as a mix-up heavy character. So he gains access to 2 different moves that enhance his mix-up potential. Firstly is 3+4, which is an amazing move. People don't talk about this as much as we should. It's so strong. It's very similar to Claudio's down back 1+2, natural launcher on normal hit, and +9 on block, bro. Leaves him in handstand. And that's just insane. This is especially strong if he has his Majinga stocks, because now he leaves you in a mix-up between a low, very strong low in the mid, basically a hell sweep low if he has 2 stacks of Majinga, and a huge mid with handstand too. Like, it's so strong. It also goes under jabs, just like Claudio down back 1+2. This move does not get as much limelight as it should. It's amazing and it's very strong. He also gets QCF4. This one is a high though, not a mid. It does some massive amounts of damage and leaves him in handstand on block plus as well, guaranteeing him a mix-up from Relax. He also has a mix-up in Relax, of course, Eddie being, you know, the mix-up god of this game. He has Relax Hell Sweep and Relax Mids. He has Relax 1+2, the big shoulder bash. So you're guessing for your life when Eddie goes into hit, especially when he has Majinga. It's a very efficient tool, but I will admit it mostly depends on if he has a lot of stocks for him to implement those Majinga mix-ups, especially for the 3+4. But still, man, 3+4 on its own is why I placed Eddie so high on this list. Like, having a safe mid launcher that goes under jabs is just insane, and on block gives you a free mix-up. That's too strong, and that's why Eddie deserves to be in my top 10 list at number 6. Okay, so before we get into our top 5, if you find yourself enjoying this video, please do consider subscribing. Over 80% of you guys that watch my videos are still not subscribed, which is just crazy. I'm on a road to 10k subs and I'm almost there. I just need your help. So please, if you find yourself enjoying this content, please do subscribe. Alright, let's now jump into the top 5. Kicking off our top 5 is Brian Fury. Come on, y'all thought I was gonna forget about Brian? You thought? Yeah, you thought wrong. Y'all know me better than that. Brian has an insane hit mechanic. So Brian has a form called Snake Eye, similar to Claudio's Starburst. He gets this form by doing moves that give him Starburst, like up for 3+4. So this gives him enhanced moves, and once he uses these enhanced moves, that buff goes away, just like Claudio's Starburst. So when Brian goes into hit, he gains infinite Snake Eyes at the cost of his hit gauge, and this buff does not go away. They instead take up a part of his hit gauge. So for example, when Brian has Snake Eyes, he gains access to one of the most broken combo enders in the game, up forward 2-2-2-2-2-3. This move is downright busted, right? So when he goes into hit, he gains this infinitely at the cost of his hit gauge. Everything that Brian gets in Snake Eyes is downright broken, or at least overpowered. It's actually insane. So he gains access to up forward 2, like I said. He also gains access to forward 1+2, which is a counter. So basically, If you attack Bran while he does this move, he absorbs that move, then throws out a counter Mark Punch, does some massive amounts of damage. He also gains an enhanced version of forward 2-1-4. He gains forward 2-1-2-3-2, which is just, and the whole string is safe at mid-screen, can only be punished at the wall. If the Bran player does the whole string, it's only -10 though. Every other part of this string is safe, from -1 to -3. So think of this string as a very overpowered down forward one, with each part of the string being a down forward one on block, bro. Like, it's insane. The amount of pressure and mental frames Bran can put you in with this string is just out of this fucking world. Like, this ability is hella strong. I don't know how else I can emphasize how strong this is. It is so freaking strong. He also gains access to 3+4 1+2, which is an extended version of his normal 3+4 move, and if he holds 1+2, this acts as a guard break. So now at the wall, Bran does not just have a taunt jet upper, he also has 3+4 1+2, which can be a guard break if charged up. So now he can mix it up with either charging the string or just throwing out the whole string on its own, or even just throwing out 3+4 as a poke, a counter hit poke, by the way, right? So yeah, this man's hit is just so freaking strong. Like, Kazuya's hit only wishes it would be as good as Bran. Like, it is so freaking strong, and that's why he deserves to make it in my top 5 list. At number 4 we have Xiaoyu, and the main aspect of Xiaoyu's hit is that it buffs up her Hypnotist stance. So Hypnotist has 2 moves from the stance. Hypnotist down 3, which is a low, that's +6 on hit and -13 on block. Pretty good low, strong either way. Comes out at 20 frames as well, so unreactable. She also has Hypnotist 2, which is a -4 mid that knocks down Wasplats and has massive pushback on block. Now when Ling goes into hit, both of her Hypnotist moves become enhanced. So Hypnotist down 3 becomes a natural knockdown low on hit, guaranteeing you a 3+4, and Hypnotist 2 becomes +5 on block and leaves the opponent closer. So very similar to Lydia's hit mechanic with Heaven and Earth 2, which leaves her at plus and safe on block. It's kind of the same thing. The only difference is Xiaoyu has some ridiculous Okizeme at the wall. With the knockdown low, like, this character will just put you in a blender, mix up after mix up after mix up. And remember, just like Lydia, you don't get rewarded for guessing mid, you're still at negative. And Ling also has forward 4, which is a high, that's +9 on block, and puts her in Hypnotist stance. So whenever she lands forward 4, she puts you in a guaranteed mix-up state. You have to guess between the mid or the low, right? This is enforced on you, like, just like that. And at the wall, this does the wall slump as well, like the knockback, and becomes like +15. So now you're even more negative and just have to guess. Yes, forward 4 is a high, you can duck, but she has down back 1+2, which is a safe mid hit engage that Wasplats as well, so you can't just duck against her. So she can just get in with forward 4 into guess for your life, forward 4 into guess for your life. At the wall, she gets a knockdown for the low, then gets some really strong Okizeme and just puts you in the blender, mix up after mix up after mix up. If you don't like guessing, then man, you won't wanna face Xiaoyu with your back against the wall in hit. She is just overpowered. Honestly, she can be higher on this list, but I just think the characters above her just have a slight edge on their hit mechanic, but still one of the best hit mechanics in the game. So overpowered. At number 3, we have Claudio Serafino. Self-explanatory hit. He basically just gets infinite starburst whilst in hit. So if you don't know how starburst works, it's similar to how Brian's snake eyes work. So starburst is a buff that's given to Claudio when he does certain moves, like forward 2 for example, or running 2. You can see his arms start glowing, then he gets enhanced version of moves that he already has, like forward 2 for example, and down back 1+2. So when he goes into hit, he gets infinite starburst at the cost of hit gauge instead of running out of the move. Sorry, running out of the buff when you use up the move when he does not have hit. That's basically how Claudio's hit abilities work. Now, the reason why this character has made top 3 is mainly because of starburst down back 1+2. This move is in the discussion of being the best move in the game. Like, it is ridiculously overpowered. natural launcher on normal hit, safe on block at -6 with pushback, and goes under highs as well, like goes under jab. Sorry, not even -6, -2 on block, and goes under jabs as well. Like that is strong. Did I mention hits grounded as well? Like this for me is the only reason why this character's hit is so strong, because man, this move, like, and you just don't want to duck against Claudio when he has starburst or when he has hit. And what do Claudio mains do when they realize this? Sidestep 4. They will chip away at your health with sidestep 4 until you eventually crack and duck. Then what happens? Boom. Down back 1+2, get launched, 80 damage, GG's. Like, it's just so freaking strong. Similar to Eddie's 3+4, but like way better, because it even hits grounded opponents, so you can't even just stay on the ground. Like, man, it is so toxic. Like, it is so freaking strong. I don't even know how much else I can emphasize, right? I don't know how much I can emphasize. So that's basically the loop with Claudio. Sidestep 4, sidestep 4, sidestep 4, or you're ducking, boom, down back 1+2, get launched. It's even scarier when he's about to run out of hit, because it does have that hit low smash. Sorry, that low hit smash. And now you're thinking to yourself, damn, do I duck for the hit smash, or do I stay standing because of that down back 1+2? The worst position you can be in, especially if your back is against a wall blast floor or like a hard wall break. Like, it's so freaking hard against this character whilst in hit, and that's why Claudio has made top 3. This is not up for debate. This hit mechanic is so freaking strong. Like, I don't even have to talk about his other moves like forward 1+2, 1+2. Down back 1+2 is everything you need with this character. So freaking strong. Just missing out on the top spot and coming in at number 2 is Kuma, and there are two main aspects to Kuma's hit. Firstly, his hit reduces the amount of time required to charge up his moves, so all his charge moves like down back 1, 2, and all standing to 1, the charge is reduced by about 7 frames, which is just insane, because both of these moves do some ridiculous chip. And secondly, Kuma gets an EWGF whilst in hit, so this one goes under jabs, is a special mid, meaning it can't be ducked, you can block it without standing and while ducking, is +5 on block and can be charged up to make it like +9, and does some massive chip as well. Now this might not seem like much on paper, but the reason why Kuma is so freaking strong is in hit is because of the amount of chip damage that this bear can do. Like, you die for blocking, bro. There is no other character in this game that can kill you for blocking as much as Kuma. Like, as of right now, we do know that the chip damage in hit has been nerfed, but we don't know just by how much. But even before that, as of right now, Kuma's chip is just insane. Just a mix-up between mixing up his charge moves as well as his EWGF, and man, you have to hold everything. Like, you can risk interrupting him or by challenging, but it's a huge ass risk. You can't just jab because of that EWGF that goes under jabs. It's a special mid as well. You can charge it up to make it more plus and deal more chip damage. And at the wall, the charge moves do the wall slamp as well, giving him more plus frames. Like, it's just a train wreck of chip after chip after chip, and you just have to hold all of that. It is so freaking strong, and like no other character, like I said, can deal as much chip as Kuma efficiently and effectively, and that's why he makes my list at number 2 and just misses out on number 1. And I know for sure you know who makes number 1, and it all makes sense. Yep, Yoshi has the strongest hit mechanic in Tekken 8. So let me explain why. So without hit, when Yoshi puts his sword away, his sword moves all become buffed or they become enhanced. For example, 1-1 with his sword out is just +4 on hit and leaves the opponent standing. However, when he puts his sword away, it becomes stronger, it knocks your opponent down, and you can see the orbs that fly towards Yoshi. That means he heals, and keep that in mind, he heals his health, like his regular health, not just gray health. Like June only heals gray health, Yoshi can heal his normal health. So this applies to every sword attack that Yoshi has when he puts his sword away. So now when Yoshi goes into hit, he gains this buff even if his sword is out. Like, it's actually insane. He just gets this buff for free as long as you pop your hit mechanic. Now, it might seem like, oh, okay, it's pretty good. I mean, doesn't really prove that his hit mechanic is the best in the game. Well, the thing is, like I said, his healing factor, bro. This man's is Wolverine. He be Deadpool out here, and he heals a shit ton. Like, if Yoshi has a lot of gray health, bro, you don't have a lead against his character. Because remember, you can get gray health back simply by attacking. But because this is Yoshi, he gets double the heal amount. He'll get gray health back for attacking, as well as healing from hitting you with his enhanced sword attacks, and that counts as another hit. So like he heals like triple the amount of times. Like, I don't really know how to explain it, but he heals like super, like, bro, he heals so much. That's all I will say. He heals so much. For example, if I show you this combo here, right, from hit mechanic, I land the flash, I put my sword away, and by the way, his flash is enhanced in hit. It becomes a combo launcher as well. I'm sure you guys know that. But if you put your sword away whilst in hit and use the flash, it still launches for a full combo, but it does not take up any of his hit gauge, bro. It does not. So you get to heal for free, you get to use a flash that launches for free as well, which is just insane. So like I was saying, if you have a bunch of gray health as Yoshi, you're going to heal for so much, like for so much. Over 50% of your gray health, you can heal all of it, right? And this is like bonus because it's not just gray health, it's regular health as well. Just this alone makes Yoshi's hit the strongest in the game, because as long as you have gray health, bro, you are always making that comeback. Twice as more likely than a regular character with a gray health, because of the amount of healing that this character can do. Like, it's so freaking strong. Not just that, the hit mechanic also buffs his Dragonfly. Like, Dragonfly 1 becomes a normal launcher, and like I said, also buffs his flash as well. So that is the reason why Yoshi's hit mechanic is the best in the game. Like, there's no life lead against this character. One launch in hit and this fucker is back in the game. Like, even if he does not have gray health, he still heals a considerable amount with one single combo whilst in hit. Like, you know, these Yoshimitsus have like super optimal flash combos that make them heal like a shit ton, bro. Like, it's insane. It's insane. But anyway, that's why Yoshi makes up the list at number 1 as the strongest hit mechanic in Tekken 8. So there you have it, guys, the top 10 strongest hit abilities in Tekken 8. What do you think of my list, and who would you replace, and who have I not mentioned who you think their hit abilities are strong? Some honorable mentions, I would say Lily has a very strong hit mechanic as well, but I don't think it's as strong as a lot of these characters. Ravens is decent, Victor has a good hit mechanic as well. I think Devil Jin is alright, but overall these 10 are like super strong whilst in hit, and that's why I think they deserve to be in my top 10. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for taking the time to watch my video. If you made this far, please don't forget to that like button and subscribe if you're new, and as usual, may the frame data be ever in your favor. GG, name again.